non-otaku.
We bought tickets online in advance and then got there, and the tickets for the seats that we bought didn't exist. And so I had to go to the counter. I had to like speak to the manager to be like, what the heck? Where are our seats? And they're like, oh.
Welcome back to 2am Otaku. I'm your host Mayu, a born and raised Japanese non-otaku, and
I'm your co-host Cisco, an American otaku.
In this podcast, we share our reviews of anime and the manga through our distinct perspectives with commentary on Japanese culture, history, and the language. Cisco, we just came back from witchwatch watch party.
I wouldn't exactly call it a watch party, but we did.
We will let you know how it was later.
Okay.
But we got to watch the first episodes of witchwatch in the theater in Los Angeles today, March 16th, prior to the April 6th television debut.
Wow, it's not coming out till April 6th? Oh, damn. So we're like way ahead of the curve.
Yup.
Woo woo. Okay.
So what's your honest feeling in one word?
Cool.
Okay.
You asked me for one word.
Okay, maybe I should have said like a one sentence.
One sentence? I'm really glad they made this anime.
All right. So we are going to talk about our experience of witchwatch watch party. First,
you can't call it a watch party. I'm sorry. It's what we went to was not a watch party.
Shh. First 3 episodes, highlights and a take on witchwatch and today's word of the day. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and follow 2am Otaku on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and wherever streams podcasts. You can leave some comments on YouTube and now on Spotify, so we would love to hear from you. All right, so let's dive into witchwatch watch party. Okay, we are having watch party right now.
We're not watching anything.
Okay, well, after watch party or something.
After watch party. Okay, I get that you really want to say watch party. So
yeah,
sure.
That's the actual name for the like a
what we went to was a screening.
Screening. Yes. No, I didn't make this up, okay?
Who's calling it a watch party?
Whoever is like streaming this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, dude, it was the saddest watch party.
Shoo!
Okay. All right.
Shoo. No. Okay. So, Cisco, could you read the synopsis of Witchwatch?
Yes. This is from Wikipedia. The series focuses on Nico Wakatsuki, a teenage witch who, after completing her magical training, moves into a house with her childhood friend Morihito Otogi, a human-looking ogre. Due to their family's ancestral history, Morihito is to become Nico's familiar and protect her. Nico also hopes this will help them become a couple, as he is her longtime crush. As the story progresses, Nico and Morihito find themselves forced to deal with the various supernatural and legendary beings they encounter, while also trying to solve all the unpredictable problems Nico's magic causes in their daily lives.
So we went to the witchwatch watch party, like I said.
Okay.
And it was constructed like an opening of the interview of 3 people.
Oh, you mean like it started off with an interview of the director and the 2 main voice actors?
Right.
Yes.
Right. And then 3 episodes straight in a row.
Yeah, with no opening theme song. What the fudge? Watch party.
And lastly, interview again.
Yeah.
That's how it was constructed. So it was interesting to see voice actors before the actual episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that must have been like especially weird for you because you've never read the manga. Because like at least I knew those characters, and so I wasn't totally thrown by having to see the voice actors first. But I think like you very rarely see the voice actors for
That's true.
most shows, and so.
But I was kind of expect to see them at the end.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like as what happened with Look Back.
Right. And there's a reason why American theaters with like a Japanese anime with short episodes or short movie. What's the rule?
What's the rule?
Yeah. They can't play in the theater unless like
at least 2 hours or something.
Yeah, certain time.
It's got to be at least an hour and a half, actually, is probably what I think.
Yeah, that's why they added those interviews. So
I don't think that's the only reason, though. I think there's probably also like, I bet you can't get access to that content unless you go to the theater to watch it or something, or they'll release it later on like a special edition DVD or something. But like, I think part of it is not just about making the runtime long enough. I think that was true for Look Back. Here, I bet they had the run, well, might have been only an hour, even with 3 episodes, if they're like 20, 23 minutes. So they might have needed to extend the runtime a little bit. But I think it was also probably to like get people to come by being like, oh, bonus, you know, interviews with the actors. And
Was
director.
it like a thing in the, like when you buy tickets?
I don't think so, no.
No.
I wasn't paying attention because I just wanted to go see it even if it didn't have this stuff in it.
Yeah, I was okay with having those. But it was nice to hear words from the director.
You know, he was like thoughtful, right? He talked about doing most of the shooting with the voice actors just with the storyboards and then animating it after they recorded rather than producing the animation. Yeah, there were some things about it that reminded me of Shirobako and how much I learned about animation production from that series.
Yeah. He was saying that this is what it's like, which comedy is made in Japan. That's what he wanted to show.
Right, yeah. And I thought that was interesting. I was trying to, like, when he insisted that witch comedy was a genre, I was like, what have I seen that's in the witch comedy genre? And you brought up Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Would you call that show a comedy?
It's a sitcom, yeah.
Okay. And then I was thinking of like the more famous ones like Bewitched, which is from like the 1960s, I think.
I mean, there was like a big one, the Blim Bumble.
I don't think of that as a witch comedy.
What is wizard comedy?
Well, the whole point is that Mashl's not a wizard.
He is not, but
the rest of the people are. But
is.
Yeah, but it's like a battle. It's like a shonen battle manga.
That's
it's
true.
Not a comedy. Anyway, I was thinking of other things in the witch comedy genre, and I was like, okay, Bewitched, obviously. And I guess like I Dream of Jeannie she's a genie, not a witch, technically, but it's the same thing, right? And so I was wondering if that was the type of show being referred to as the witch comedy genre. But are there other shows about witches in Japan that are like comedies?
I don't know, like Sari-chan, Mahotsukai Sari-chan. It's a very old one.
What type of a witch is she?
I don't remember. I remember how she looked.
Is it funny?
I don't know. I really don't remember, but I liked it.
I mean, I guess there's like Yamato-kun and the Seven Witches. Which I really like that manga, but I don't think we watched the anime.
There are a couple, I guess.
What else is like a witch comedy? I guess we could like really stretch the boundaries of the genre and say like Saiki K is kind of a witch comedy, but he's like a psychic.
Yeah.
But he uses essentially magic, right? So I guess depending on how generous we want to be with the idea of witch comedy, there could be a lot. But anyway, it was something that stood out to me as like, I did not realize there was a witch comedy genre because I can't think of very many American shows that fall into that category. But the more I like really contemplated it, I guess I can think of some. Anyway, yeah. So this one really draws on Japanese fairy tale tropes in building its story. Although there's like a lot of Western tropes in here too. Like Nico is a Western style witch, and it's even implied that she has French ancestry.
Yeah, grandma, yeah.
And so it's like a mishmash of the two, really. But the first couple familiars she acquires, or at least just the first two, are both specifically Japanese. Like the term, I have like a problem with translating Oni as ogre.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
Yeah, there's like some aspects of ogres that are relevant to Oni, but they really feel like kind of something different. Sometimes you'll see it translated as demon, and that feels even more wrong to me. Like
Oni is something different.
Yeah, and it's also not a troll. Like it's a thing for which there is no direct parallel in Western mythology, I think. And so I guess like ogre will like serve as like the closest thing, but it really shows you like how far away from the Western concept of an ogre and Oni is when they talk about the Oni having been created as the offspring of bulls and tigers that became human and then like mingled with humans. And so it's like part bull, part tiger, part human. So I guess like that sounds closer to like a minotaur to me than like anything else, but
wait, how Oni is translated in English for Demon Slayer?
Demon.
Or demon? I think at this point, everybody should already know the word oni.
You mean like true otaku?
Yeah, or maybe people know what oni is.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's so hard to pin it down in translation. I think it's still
Need
sort
to
of
read
tricky.
more Japanese folktales.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's funny. In Demon Slayer, I think because of the English title, I don't think of them as oni. I think of them as demons.
Oh, okay.
Like, is Muzan an oni?
Demon, I guess. He looks more like demon than oni.
Okay, thank you. Right. That's what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
he's got like something like more like
Evil.
yeah, infernal about him that goes beyond what we think of as like oni to like being, I mean, like I guess oni run the gamut in Japanese mythology too, right? There's like some that are really more devilish than others, but like Muzan seems to represent like an extreme of that. That's like really like I came from the pits of hell and am maybe almost like satanic, right? In my like power and evil. Okay, we're not talking about Demon Slayer. Moving back to in this series, the oni looks like just a regular human, except that he's strong. And we also get a Tengu right at the end of episode 3, who's another Japan-specific type of mythological creature. And so later they introduce some other characters that are more Western in their derivation. And then really deep into the series, like they would have to get like 3 seasons of the anime to get this far. They eventually go back and have some more characters that are derived from like Japanese mythology. So it's got like a real mixture of both.
I'm Japanese. I grew up in Japan, and you know a lot of Japanese stuff.
That's true.
History, culture, everything. So when we watch together, like I don't really think when non-Japanese people watch this, how would they think of these little jokes? Or do they get them?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of jokes from this series that will go over your head if you're not pretty fluent in Japanese, and not just in the language, but also in cultural references.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in some ways, like watching anime like this can build your cultural competency by introducing you to topics that you didn't know about before, and like being like, oh, I guess like this is a trope. So for example, when the Tengu is introduced, he whips out a staff that controls the wind. Now, you might know already that Tengu have that ability and that they have like that 5, lobed leaf. Yeah. What type of leaf is that? Is it just a giant maple leaf?
No, there's a specific leaf, but I can't come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know what Americans think that's a leaf of, right?
What?
I mean, it could be a maple leaf, but like, I think for some reason in America, maple leaves, and this is maybe because the Canadian flag, how many lobes does the Canadian maple leaf have?
3.
3. So when you think of a 5-lobed leaf in America, what plant comes to mind immediately?
I don't know.
Marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like pretty clearly not a marijuana leaf, but it does have 5 lobes. And so like, I think it's something else, right?
Interesting.
But just saying like, so I think like, but so you might not have known that, right? About Tengu, that they use this particular type of leaf to control the wind. But by watching this, you'd be like, oh, maybe that's a Tengu trait, which in fact it is. Or the fact that he's wearing like the weird 1-pronged geta, right? The type of sandals he's got on. Like if you have never seen a Tengu before and all you know is that that character is a Tengu, you will be introduced to some tropes about Tengu that will then translate over. The next time you see something, you can be like, oh, that thing's a Tengu. So I think for me, for example, Urusei Yatsura was my first exposure to most Tengu-like stuff, because there's a Tengu princess who is actually not very Tengu at all, but she's served by a bunch of crows who have like peculiar hats, vests, and geta that all mark them as like really obviously Tengus. Does that sort of make sense?
Yeah.
And so like, I think through watching anime, you can learn stuff like that about Japanese culture, even if you didn't know it going in. But when it comes to the jokes, yeah, some of those are like pretty deep cuts. I'm thinking of the classmates' names.
Yeah, those are really funny.
All of the classmates' names are puns.
Yeah.
But if you don't speak Japanese fluently, you will not understand what they mean. I mean, like they try hard in the English translation to convey the jokes that are being made about the different characters' names, but because they have to transliterate their names as what they say their names are in Japanese, there is no way to understand that like this one guy just literally said, they're like, what's your name? And he was like, oh, my name is like,
I have a list.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me one.
Okay. Hara kowashi.
So my name is like, like broken, like stomach or whatever. When you'd be like your name is broken stomach, right? Like, and you can't like it's really, really hard to, I don't know. I think it's hard to make those translations, especially because like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know like how obvious to make the joke. And is that a realistic name in Japanese?
Hara-kowashi, no way.
But Hara is, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Hara-kun.
Yeah.
There's definitely like Haras in the world. Yeah. Kowashi as a first name, nobody has that first name, right? No. But like, so you have to be like really careful about how you're translating. Hit me with another one.
Ishi Tsuyoshi.
So like, I guess like you could totally, that one is actually pretty easy. That guy could totally be Will Strong because Will is a common first name and Strong is a common last name. And so like that one like happens to work. But like he stands up there in Japanese and they just translate his whole name to Will Strong. I think people would be like, what the hell? Like, why'd you translate it to like a total different name than what they're all actually saying? Yeah. And it would be like, it would go by too fast for people to register that it's a pun and that we're translating the name. So I think that's what I'm saying is like, you know, I mean, for what it's worth, maybe this is just me projecting, but like, I really wanted to study Japanese because I wanted to understand anime on a deeper level by like getting the jokes and being able to watch it without subtitles. And I think for lots of anime fans, there's some level of that desire, or they're just watching the dub anyway and it doesn't matter. And I'm ashamed to say that I know some people who watch dubs, but yeah.
All right. So I thought it was it kind of reminded me of Saiki and Roboko and a little bit of Draemon, all combined.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of each of those in it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's really funny.
Although I think, I would have to actually double check this, but I feel like witchwatch might be older than Roboko. They both came out since I started reading Shonen Jump. Yeah. Which is like 2019. So like in the last 6 years.
Okay. And those little jokes, even Japanese and Japanese culture, little bit of some jokes I understood them, right? But felt pretty old. Yeah. Like an old kind of joke, old, not time jokes. Right. So I did some research. Manga artist Kenta Shinohara was born in 1974.
Okay. That's about what I pictured, actually.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, that makes sense because he was mentioning about Gorugo 13, like Kochikame.
The anime
like,
that she's collecting are like really old, right? Like they're even old for us and we're old. Yeah. So yeah, it was sort of like, I mean, they also aren't the type of anime you would expect Nico to be into. Or excuse me, not anime, manga. Like maybe Kochikame, I can kind of see that, but like Golgo?
Golgo, no.
Does she say those are my moms?
Right. Even older.
So, okay, at least we like tried to explain that away then. Yeah, that was sort of funny.
Yeah, so that solved the mystery for me. The manga artist Kenta Shinohara used to be a businessman and he quit his job and decided to become a manga artist. And in 2 years, he made a debut.
Wow. Good for him.
I know.
That's an inspirational story that I want to share with our 3 a.m. otak friend.
Who? Our friend?
Sugimoto, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who's with the eyes? Our friend, yes.
Yeah. That's true.
Your friend.
My friend, yes. Okay, for you, which part was highlight?
I really like the part where she makes everybody able to fly, in part because I just really enjoy imagining myself getting to do that.
You like it, yeah.
It would be so cool. But also, like, I saw myself in the nerds in her class who immediately try to become Dragon Ball Z characters and fly around. Like, I don't even like Dragon Ball Z, but I would definitely do that. Yeah. So I think that part is like, that part's really cute. And it's sort of fun. I think because I've read all of the manga, I have like specific favorite chapters of the manga that I am excited to see get animated. And some of my favorite characters have not yet been introduced by the end of episode 3. So I really liked all 3 episodes. I think they're all pretty good. They set up the show pretty well. But for me, it's also sort of the best is yet to come. And so I'm excited for more of the main characters to get introduced. And yeah, there's a lot of really good jokes in this manga, and I'm looking forward to the adaptation into an anime.
All right. Let's do word of the day.
All right.
Today's word of the day is...
Well, we already did oni, which was we spent like a long time on that. What should we do here?
Osananajimi.
Good one.
I don't think we have done it yet. Or maybe...
In a way, I'm surprised we haven't. But yeah, let's do it. Okay. So Osananajimi means childhood friend. And it comes with a lot of, it's very like laden with additional meanings. In almost any anime that features two characters who are Osananajimi, there is at the bare minimum a good likelihood they will be romantically attracted to each other later on. And I feel like, I don't know, for me, this was true in my own life. Was this true for you?
What? Crush?
Yeah, like that you have an Osananajimi who's like sort of your first crush or an important person in your life or something like that.
I grew up in a small community. Everybody was like,
was an Osananajimi.
So
yeah.
I don't know if it's count.
Yeah. I think like the people who are my Osananajimi, like I didn't necessarily develop a crush on them later. Like I had a crush on people when I was like, tiny little kid, right? Like 3, 4, whatever. But I feel like maybe it was because I watched too much anime. But I always felt like that possibility was there of like, you'll be reunited and like you knew each other from when you were little and like, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually funny. I don't know if I would have felt that way had I not watched more anime, but I think that I would have actually. Like that there's something special about knowing people when you're really young and then being separated from them for a long time and then coming back and seeing them again. And they're like very different than how you remembered them. Or like you had crushes on each other when you were really little, or maybe it was a one-sided crush, like one person had a crush on the other one. And you didn't know if the feelings were reciprocated and then you're gone for a long time and now you're back together. And oh my God, what do we think now? I don't know. I feel like it's an easy trope. For me, it feels like a thing that happened in my actual life. And it's extremely prevalent in anime. So it's not always the case that the main character ends up with the Osananajimi in the end, but you can pretty safely bet they'll be part of a love triangle at some point.
Okay, I have to say, Osananajimi doesn't have to be
opposite sex.
Totally. I have Osananajimi. We are friends. We're best friends.
Yeah. It can be a platonic relationship too.
Yeah, it's just like
depending on the anime. Because you could totally have Osananajimi.
That's true.
Like Blue Flag.
Yes, I love the manga.
Yeah, Blue Flag was so good.
Yeah.
But that's a case of Osananajimi, and they're both the same gender.
Yes.
But one of them, I guess actually they end up both being, one of them's gay and the other one ends up being bisexual. But like, yeah, like it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. No. It can be a platonic relationship too.
Right.
And I think actually Komi-san is a great example of that because one of the characters is named Osananajimi.
So that's exactly why Saiki is, and this one is a little bit similar. All the like characters' names are like
puns. Yes. So and that character is childhood friends with everybody without being romantically attracted to anyone.
Yeah.
And so, It doesn't have to have that component, but in a lot of anime it will.
All right. I forgot to do the opening and ending theme song. So let me introduce about the opening theme song of Witchwatch, which is Watch Me by YOASOBI, which we got to listen at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they played it over the credits, but they didn't show us the actual opening animation. How dare you?
Why? They are not ready yet?
I mean, it's possible that they haven't finished, but it's coming out April 6th. It's definitely done. There's no way.
The thing is, we don't know. We didn't know about the ending theme song until I told you just now, which is Maho Spice, Magic Spice by Aooo.
That's really the band's name?
Aooo. It's a very interesting band's name. It's based on each member's blood type, Aooo.
Wow. No B's in this band, huh? Feeling discriminated against.
Or AB, yes. But
if there was an AB, how would you even know? Sorry, I was like, maybe that's how ABBA got their name too. ABBA.
But when I was like doing research about Witchwatch, I went to the website for Witchwatch, official website, and there's an announcement of ending theme song, which was announced today. Today.
What, did they have a battle royale contest that just took a really long time to resolve in order to decide who was going to be the ending theme?
I mean, that's why we didn't see that in the theater, I guess.
I wonder, okay, well, I think they must have filmed it already. They can't still be working on the anime.
Why can't they show us?
Yeah.
It's a Witchwatch watch party. Why?
Don't make me renew my objections to calling this a watch party. But okay, sure. Yeah, I was upset that we didn't get the opening and ending animations. I would understand only showing the opening at the beginning of the first episode and only showing the ending at the ending of the third episode. And sometimes the first episode doesn't have an opening in it, so maybe you show it at the beginning of the second episode. But like, show us once, please,
I
and
know.
show us the ending at least one time. you know?
Yeah, it was a bummer,
Well,
to
maybe
be
next time.
honest. Okay, let's get to the truth of watch party.
Okay.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, fine. So it was actually a movie screening in a movie theater in Burbank.
North Hollywood.
North Hollywood. Oh, damn, you're right. Yeah, no. I think there might have been one in Burbank that we didn't
Yeah.
go to. Okay, so in North Hollywood, and we bought tickets online in advance and then got there, and the tickets for the seats that we bought didn't exist. And so I had to go to the counter. I had to like speak to the manager to be like, what the heck? Where are our seats? And they're like, oh, no one bought tickets to this. So we moved it into a smaller theater. We've like reassigned your seats. And so there were 5 people in the whole theater, which was like a capacity of almost like 50 people. So that was sad, actually. Like
Yeah, 4 of them are us.
yeah, 4 of them were people we went with. So, I mean, on the one hand, like, yeah, we are the target audience for this. And at the same time, like, yeah, you know, 4 p.m. on a Sunday is not like peak movie going time for most people, I think. But I was sorry to see that there was not more support and love shown for this anime.
Or we chose, because we chose Japanese audio with English subtitles.
Can you choose English dub?
I assume so. No? I think so. There's a dub version.
I mean, I'm sure they're making a dub version, but well, okay, whatever. I would have, even if there had been an option, I would have disregarded it with disdain. So it's totally possible that the only option was subtitled, and that's what we went to. Yeah, and that might explain some of it. But well, whatever. So yes, like I said, it would have, if it was a watch party, it was a very sad watch party. It was a watch party with exactly one more person than would have watched it had it been on TV in our home. So yeah, but it was cool to watch it in a theater. Other than movies, you don't often get to see TV shows in a theater. It was exciting to have it be like an event that we got to go to. So although I wouldn't call it a watch party, like there were no snacks. We didn't even buy popcorn. It was a screening, and it was cool to see it on a big screen.
日本語しかないのか。
Yeah, okay. And maybe there isn't a dub version.
No, that's tomorrow. Today, let's see. Today, oh, it's not. It doesn't show anymore today. Okay, let's see. Japanese language, English subtitles, Japanese with English subtitles.
I mean, also, what the hell would they do with the before and after with the voice actors if it was, right?
That's
A
true.
dub. I don't think they did like a video with the American voice actors.
Okay, so my guess was wrong.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to the dub. I mean, there is no dub, but
Yet.
I mean, it might have turned people off. Some people don't like seeing subtitled things in the theaters, but I don't think many people found out about this, looked it up, and then were like, wait, it's only subtitled? I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be a real niche.
I have to tell to the world we need subtitles for every single movie.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's one of the reasons, or big reasons, why I don't go to see movie theaters, because I'm not English native. I need subtitles to understand the story better.
Right.
So if I don't have subtitles, it's harder.
I mean, there is closed captioning for some movies, especially for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And so maybe we just need to look harder for the right movies for you.
Yeah. All right. Let's finish here. Is there anything you would like to add?
Please watch Witchwatch.
It's streaming on Crunchyroll and on Netflix.
Cool. Good job,
All right.
Netflix.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you liked this week's episode, please give us good review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or like and leave a comment on YouTube. It will keep us making more fun episodes. See you next time for more 2 AM Otak.
Peace.